It's time for another cryptid here on We Are If, and this time it's a creature with a fantastic name, an animal said to be a combination of many other creatures, making for something that is very unique. This creature has a history with presidents and has been said to be nothing more than a hoax, while others make the claim of real-life frightening encounters. So what's the name of this mysterious beast? The Snallygaster. Let's take a look. Welcome to If, videos on history, mystery and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. So what is a Snallygaster? For those that have not heard of the strange beastie, the term was first used as a bit of a catch-all for any type of bizarre monster. The great word has an old dictionary definition which reads, mythical, nocturnal creature, half bird, half reptile, chiefly reported in rural Maryland, which preys on children and poultry. Tracing the stories back, we find ourselves with the first European immigrants arriving in the United States. These people introduced tales of monsters from their home countries, and the legend of the Snallygaster quickly spread in Middletown. People began to see the monster, with these sightings reaching a peak during the 1920s. It got to such a frenzy that parents were keeping children home for fear of an attack. The story tells that the Snallygaster appears on a 20-year life cycle. They lay eggs which are kept incubated for 2 decades, and this has led to the idea that the Cryptids, the Dueño and Skysville monster were Snallygaster hatchlings. So what is it that people have reported seeing? The Snallygaster is an enormous avian said to attack people and animals in and around the state of Maryland, USA. The dragon-like beast is said to dive silently, swooping from the air onto unsuspecting animals and even children. The appearance of the beast is said to be that of a reptilian-like bird with a huge metallic beak filled with large, sharp teeth and tentacles which shoot out from the beak when the cryptid attacks. These may possibly be some sort of tongue-like appendages. With a single eye in the middle of its forehead, the creature also, for added effect, emits a screech like a locomotive whistle. This odd description of a creature is common in this part of the world. We see similarities with other cryptids like the Piesa bird, which I covered way back in the video linked above. The Piesa bird is a story native to the Americas, whereas the Snallygaster was originally a German tale. Back then, the monstrous bird-like beast was called the Schnellergeist, meaning quick spirit. It was also thought to be a vampire-like creature. It would suck the blood of those it swooped upon. They could protect themselves not with a cross as is the case with vampire lore, but a heptagram, a 7-pointed star. If you feared an attack from the Schnellergeist, painting this symbol on your home would ward the cryptid away. So we are left with an animal that has a real description and could be considered an actual unidentified species, to characteristics that would make it seem a little more on the paranormal side. So what was really behind the Snallygaster sightings of the 20s? Let's jump back to the 1900s. A time when Marylanders started to tell of sightings of shape-shifting, monstrous ringed creatures near to the southern mountains. The stories that were being told were seized upon by journalists of the day. The stories made for a good read, and with each retelling, they grew ever more fantastical. These carried on until the 1950s, and the legend of the animal grew year upon year. This when a real-life living legend stepped into the story. President Theodore Roosevelt, the swashbuckling 26th President of the United States, partnered with the Smithsonian Institute. They began to pursue their interests in the sighting of the Snallygaster. Scientists from the museum and the president began a hunt for evidence of the Snallygaster. This in an attempt to support the various scientific theories that had been proposed about the mysterious creature. Teddy Roosevelt, who had hunted some of the world's most exotic game, was up for the challenge the elusive cryptid provided. A local newspaper even posted a story that said President Roosevelt was seriously thinking about cancelling his much published African safari to track the mysterious specimen down. This decision coming out of the idea that there was a wild and dangerous animal on the loose. A 1909 article claimed that a man had been captured by the winged cryptid and that the Snallygaster had bitten into the jugular of the unfortunate victim, draining his body completely of blood, then casually tossing the remains over the edge of a cliff where it had eaten its bloody meal. Local newspapers jumped at the story and continued to hype the dangers of the Snallygaster. They even published the reports of several claimed eyewitnesses. The stories recounted to the writers of various newspapers range from the weird to the ridiculous. One claimed to have seen an egg the size of a barrel allegedly laid by the monster bird. Another told of how a railway worker was lifted up by his suspenders. And there was even one account of a cryptid speaking to a man mysteriously declaring,
"My, I'm dry. I haven't had a good drink since I was killed in the Battle of Chickamauga."
These stories had many crying fraud and fake, people out to make a quick buck with a made-up story that a newspaper was only too quick to publish. Later investigations uncovered evidence that the newspapers used motifs of German folklore, including dragon-like creatures who snatch children and livestock, to fabricated stories about the Snallygaster. This creation of stories and old country horrors was a veil for the real and perceived threats locals saw in outsiders and the startling changes of the new century, this making the emergence of a beast like the Snallygaster inevitable. And this brings us to the close of the story, with the telling that the Snallygaster met its end in a vat of moonshine. Was the creature real? Where was it hiding? And what could it have been? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. And if you're looking for some more cryptid inspired fun, head over to the guys at Venomous Fringe. Their podcast is sure to interest you. If you want to catch the latest from me, just search We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.